Welcome to No Left Field, the show for busting boundaries and expanding possibilities.
And we have fun doing
it. Do we, though?
Hey, listeners. Last episode, the subject of God came up a lot. In this episode, first we check in on the latest happenings of the here and now. Then we go back, a little time travel, to a previous, unreleased recording where I, Jason, describe my spiritual evolution. Take a step back with us, and then forward, as we return to the present and my ongoing search for meaningful work. Hey, Ro.
Hey, Jazz.
Nice to see you here again.
Thank goodness it's Friday.
Right. TGIF. Yeah, I like this rhythm that we seem to be getting into. First of all, recording in person.
Yeah, I like it too.
Yes. And also, we didn't mention last week, we're in the same so-called studio that we were in last week, which is our bedroom. Colette's in my bedroom here, which we recently got new carpeting in.
So plush.
Right? And a new reading chair and a new frame for our bed. And it's much more spare and sparse in here than it was before. And it's really nice. It's a very relaxing space to have a chit-chat in.
It's very nice.
Yeah. Why don't we get our conversation started with updates from you, whatever updates you've got for our listeners.
Okay. It is May 29th. Did you already say that?
I didn't, but I'm glad you said it.
It's May 29th.
2026.
2026. It's the last Friday in May. And it was 7 months ago. It was set, that would be October 29th, 2025, that we recorded a discussion about spirituality and religion, which we are going to mine today. And so 7, I got curious about that. 7 as there's like some symbolism, right? So 7, the seventh day was the day of rest, in Genesis. God created, I think Adam and Eve came on day 6. And
we're going
took a
the oldest of the Old Testament to start.
And on the 7th day, we rested. And so it's still related to my update in the sense that I was on a meeting today I have a writing group with Ed, my partner, and our other friend, Stephanie. And Steph was like, well, now that we're done with the cancer, let's reset. And I think, we kept meeting throughout Ed's year of cancer care and treatment. But so much of our discussion was focused on managing that, how we were doing. We kind of put a pause on the other materials that we had been supporting each other in and turned our attention fully to how to support one another. So it's not lost on me that Stephanie, too, our friend, has also been enrolled in Ed's care and can now also start to reset. It's like there's the ripple effects of Ed's healing and wellness. Jason, you probably know this more than almost anyone in terms of how entangled we had you in our care. Thank God. And I don't want to say like I release you to take care of the rest of the needs in your life, but I'm aware that that has lifted a lot. The care required, the attention required, the energy required, the psychic hold that Ed's cancer had on many people in our community for a long time is lifting. And so I'm feeling really buoyed by that. And I continue to be delighted when I hear Ed working. And his energy has mostly returned. He seems like himself, except I would say like a slightly new and improved version, which includes what I'm describing as working with organic timing and napping when he needs to nap, resting when he needs to rest, working on the projects that move him when he wants to work on those projects, doing the client work when it's required. But before, leading up to the cancer, Ed was at sort of a peak busyness, and we had to have weekly meetings to debunch his schedule.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
We did. We had you were saying that this room has become spare and more minimalist, and that's definitely like my psychic house needs to be spare and free of clutter. And the way Ed's calendar looks with overlapping and back-to-back appointments gives me a lot of anxiety, and I could feel him flagging too and dropping balls, and then of course not being as available to some of the other more pleasurable things or even the domestic things that I had hoped he would do. So I helped him with that, and it got better, like calendaring rest, calendaring a break, calendaring swimming, yoga, the things that were healthy as well. So Ed's doesn't need me to debunch right now. He's, and like I said, in this organic sort of flow of self-care and professional life ramping up. I don't know how lucrative this chapter is or this version of Ed's work is, but I'm really happy for him to be in this maybe liminal space before things get busy again, if they do. And it's very liberating for me as well to feel like he's got this. Things are underway, and he's got a healthier lens, thoroughly, holistically healthier lens on how he wants to move through life.
Well, that sounds really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's, I don't know if we've introduced our listeners to the term Barf Tunnel.
I don't know either. Go ahead.
It's such a vivid image, right? But for the really unpleasant experiences that we go through that suck to be in the middle of and then inevitably bear fruit, that we end up being grateful for once we're through them. Totally. Which that's a fair characterization of the Barf Tunnel.
Yes. And honestly, I feel like the Barf Tunnel doesn't reveal itself until you're pretty close to the end of the thing you're going through. Like, to me, classic Barf Tunnel is the mile 58. I don't know, right? Like, there's just I've already come so far.
Yeah.
Or the second dip in process before you get to the finish line, before you get to the end. So, yeah. There's kind of a long Barf Tunnel.
A very long Barf Tunnel, extremely barfy.
It was a lot of barf.
Well, yay for all of that. That makes me really happy to hear. And yesterday, was it? He went swimming for the first time since surgery?
Swimming. Yeah, he swam half a mile, and he said
half a mile, man. I
felt
I can't fathom that, as it were.
Amazing.
Swimming half a mile. That is incredible.
Yeah, especially lap swim, where you're like, touch, swim, 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 touch, swim, swim, swim. So it's many laps. That surprises me that you say that, though. Now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, what about left foot, right foot for 100 kilometers or whatever?
Well, sure. And I know how to put one foot in front of the other.
I see, yeah.
I am maybe the least talented, quote unquote, swimmer.
That's great. I forgot that about you.
Exactly.
I mean, I know you're very good at this.
Yeah, I suck in the water.
Okay.
I suck in the water. There's, I could tell I was traumatized by a swimming teacher when I was 3 years old.
So don't suck in the water. That's the thing.
So don't suck in the water.
Blow
First
bubbles.
and foremost, yes, exactly.
Blow bubbles.
Yeah, that's really good advice. Really
okay.
Good advice.
You were traumatized when you were 3?
Yeah, that's a story probably for another day. And that was the start of a string of really cruel swimming teachers that I had when I was a kid.
Damn.
Yeah. I had really bad luck with swimming teachers when I was a kid. Swimmers have all my respect. All my respect. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
How else are you?
I feel like I am right smack in the middle of this professional barf tunnel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a week ago when we recorded, so yeah, the main thing was, I really want this job. I really want this job. I still don't know. I haven't received any news, so I haven't received bad news, which is in a way receiving bad news because waiting is just delays are never good news.
Yeah.
When you make it as a finalist for a position, and all of the candidates have been through the process. And even though we did get a message from the search committee chair last week that there had been a slight delay, at least in my mind, I cannot imagine that this entire week would have elapsed without, a reference check having been initiated for whoever their chosen candidate is.
Okay.
So I'm in this process that you and Colette and Ed are helping me through, which is the process of letting go not only of this job, but of maybe any full-time employment. And that just seems to be the message that I'm supposed to get right now, which I knew almost a year ago. I don't know if you remember me sharing with you, when things didn't work out with that global gap year company. I felt like I had this moment where I was smacked over the head with a frying pan, or smacked in the face with a frying pan, saying, dude, stop working full-time for organizations. That's not what you were meant to do.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember sharing that.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. That was an important lesson that I was supposed to be learning. And that actually is part of what sent us down the path of doing this pod.
Yeah.
And then doing the Young Global Leaders pod, and then eventually the Forging Common Ground pod. Both of those have stalled out, but at least the Young Global Leaders I want to start back up. Anyway, and then that all changed in December when this job in the overseas job opportunity came up that I thought I was the perfect fit for. Mm-hmm. And I'm still hurting from that process. I'm still up in my head about what went wrong and just how sad I am that I don't get to be a part of that, and that I don't get to lend my skills and my talents and my energies to that project, which is such a worthy project and so in my lane.
Yeah.
I could do that job so well and I could have the feeling that I sometimes had during the global gap year on my best days, when like every neuron in my brain and body was on fire.
Yeah.
Like I was just so like, I can't be making a greater contribution than I'm making right now. I couldn't be any more lit up. And it wasn't just the days it actually wasn't on the days where everything was going smoothly. It was on it was just busy days, where a lot of stuff was happening. And, I referred to it as elevated living to one of my colleagues who laughed and said, yes, that's good.
Yeah.
That kind of elevated living.
Yeah.
And I know that that's what this job would have been. Yeah. Everything's heightened.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
And that's what I miss about working inside of organizations in the right role.
Yeah.
And that's the buzz that I crave, as well as direct deposit.
Uh-huh.
Direct deposit is like my favorite thing in the world. I love me some direct deposit. Just deposit it directly. Make the numbers go up. Use the numbers. I need them to go up. Please. So, as I expressed to you and Colette earlier, right before we started recording, is the feeling that I've got right now about this is that the universe glitched.
Yeah.
Like something is just so out of whack. Something is so out of whack, specifically with regard to this overseas position. And then more broadly, just like, my dear Aunt Sarah said something to us in early 1996. It was right after Colette and I got married, and we were trying to purchase our first car.
Cool.
And we did. And we took it, we like did all the paperwork when we drove out and the engine overheated.
Oh,
immediately.
No.
Yeah. Totally. And in the meantime, Sarah's boyfriend at the time had this beat up old car that he was trying to sell. It ran well.
Okay.
It ran well was the thing. It was a beat up old hunka. And she said to Colette and me, the universe is supposed to flow, and this ain't flowing. Mm-hmm. That is the car that overheated.
Yes.
So the universe is supposed to flow, and it is so not flowing right now. It's like there's something blocking the far end of the Barf Tunnel, and the barf is piling up. Oh, and I'm getting more. It's like suffocating me right now. Oh, God. Is what it feels like.
Oh, God. Chaz.
Yeah, it's not. That. I do too. I really do. And so it continues. And I think actually it kind of leads pretty nicely into the main topic, which is spirituality and religion. Because what happened was,
it really does.
We've recorded a lot, right? And we've only released a certain subset.
Yeah.
And last week's episode, season 2, episode 1, God came up a lot.
Yeah.
And what I think was kind of missing is the context. I guess I felt a little bit self-conscious, like, are there going to be listeners who come to this pod and think that we're these religious fanatics, right? Like we're Bible thumping, like hellfire and brimstone, like, oh my God, politically conservative, evangelical types, whatever. I don't know. Yeah. But what I was hoping that we could do was provide some context. And what you and I have agreed would do that for us is to have the bulk of this episode be chunks from the episode that we recorded last October 29th, 2025.
7 months ago.
To the day. Yes, exactly. Yes. So that's what we're going to do. We're gonna stop recording this bit and lead into that episode from 7 months ago, and then we'll come back at the end of that and kind of wrap things up. And then next episode, we'll get more into your spiritual. So the context is like Jason's spiritual/religious journey.
Yes.
And then next week will be Rowena's spiritual/religious journey.
Yes, that's right. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And I hope I think a lot of what you said is very much connected to your spiritual journey.
Exactly.
And how you got to where you are.
How I got to where I am, and
why you needed the spiritual journey, right? Where what you're feeling right now, what helps us. I will speak for myself, like what helps me move through this in my spiritual path, and what I think will be more beautiful than you could ever imagine.
It's funny you said that, and I could actually feel myself bifurcating. Like on the one hand, like that landed is totally true. Mm-hmm. And then the louder voice was like, yeah, right. Mm-hmm. And so much of the spiritual life is about acknowledging and having compassion for that yeah, right voice. And then not letting it take us over.
Yes. And I think something that really stuck out to me in the recording that you're about to hear is when you talk about God in human form. And that bifurcation feels like it is very much
that's a really good point.
Embodied in that.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's a great observation. So without further ado, should we get into that?
Let's roll.
All right. I thought it might be interesting for you and I to share personal stories of our own journeys in this life.
Okay.
In the realm of spirituality /religion. and sort of end with where we are now.
Mm-hmm.
And gosh, I don't know what would come after that, but that was just kind of a structure I had in mind for this conversation. What were you about to say?
Well, I was just trying to, again, like sort of crystallize the why is this a timely topic now?
Mm-hmm.
Because as it's possible that this episode won't air in the next immediate moment or several, but it's still going to be really relevant, is my guess. Like, yes, we're in a particularly moment of crisis, but what I've learned in my 55 years on this planet is like one crisis opens up the possibilities of another and another and another. And there's, different scales and impacts, blah, blah, blah. But we could really use some tools every day for some, if not for our own well-being, for someone else's. There's infinite need, it seems, including for our beloved planet. So, but you were sort of crystallizing something around today and the doom scrolling, and I just wanted to make sure that I met that moment.
Yeah, no, and I feel like you did.
Okay.
This topic is always timely.
This topic is always timely. The topic of
spirituality / religion. And again, maybe we should try to differentiate between those two terms. But yeah, that broad topic, I think, is always timely. And to me personally, it's just felt more urgent over the last few months. More
urgent to equip ourselves to be able to
have
navigate
resources and tools. Yeah.
Yes.
And ultimately, I guess to break it down, it's like I want to show up as the most loving person that I can be. I want to show up in a way that values the sort of, I guess, the dignity of humanity, honors the suffering of humanity, tries to lessen the suffering of humanity. There's a certain kind of imprint that I hope to leave. And I feel like I'm going to be best able to do that to the extent that I have my spiritual house in order. Whatever that means, right? We could, unpack that as well.
What was that? I know we could go back to the tape, but I want to leave. What did you say?
I think I said the imprint that I want to leave was something. That imprint, I feel like I'm going to be more able to leave that imprint to the extent that I have my spiritual house in order. Yeah. If I show up and I'm just all like pissed off and angry and aggrieved, and that's it, then there is so much room for anger and aggrievement and all that stuff. I'm not at all saying that we I'm not making that wrong. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. But if that's all I am, then I'm probably going to leave a different kind of imprint that it's not ultimately what I know that I want to leave. So I think I feel like the cumulative effects of all of the very stressful stuff that's been happening is making it harder to show up the way that I want to show up. There's so much freak out in the air. And I just don't feel like that's how I want to be showing up. There's a lot of rabbit holes to it. Yeah, freaking out. Yeah, just getting caught up in all of the swirls and finding, and also part of that is finding effective pathways towards action as well. Clear-headed, and open-hearted.
Thank you so much for unpacking that. Effective, clear-headed pathways to feeling resourced and not spiraling, and that I guess relates a little bit to me to this What sense of empowerment that I was referencing, like to feel empowered to, and that's something I also have been wrestling with, and we've been talking about it a little bit, like why do I feel so undisciplined and reckless and impulsive in my thoughts, which is to sort of like bandy with the freak out, get on the freak out train. And it's like those little, maybe it's cortisol zings of, it's like I have a fix. I need to freak out a certain amount every day. But we've been watching the World Series, and Ed is so frustrated with me because I'm just like, don't fuck up. You fucked up. Like, he's like, that's actually so terrible. Like, imagine. This is like, right? Like I have one word for you, you know? Like, yeah. Anyways, I can feel. I'm like, can you feel me? Like you could, you know, if listeners could see us, like there's a lot of tension in my body. You can hear the tension in my throat. You can hear yeah. And that takes a while to get rid of. As we get older, especially, I feel like it takes longer and longer. So let us take a deep breath and reset and begin. I'd love to hear about your spiritual / religious, however you want to frame it, journey.
Okay.
Jason.
Okay. Right. Huh?
I might like bump. I might like.
Butt in anytime.
Butt in.
Be a Batinsky.
I was going to say bump in.
Do that too.
Okay.
You can do that too. Yeah. Okay. So thank you for all the questions, because you're actually helping me clarify why the heck I even want to talk about this in the first place. I'm going to start by saying that my own kind of working understanding of religion and spirituality is like, so spirituality is sort of a universal human need. In this, I'm not actually going to try to define it. What I'm going to try to do is set it off from religion. Mm-hmm. And again, people have talked about this. A lot of people have talked about this before me. So this is just JP's, just, you know, my own naive layperson's take on it. And that religion is human organizations and institutions that are built around spirituality, and often then stray from spirituality or harm spirituality, but they're human organizations and institutions. And you know, as people, we turn towards existing structures and existing models to meet our needs, and so, you know, religion has become this way that groups of humans have chosen to organize themselves in order to meet spiritual needs. So that's, I'm just going to sort of stop that there. That's, again, the working definition that I kind of use for spirituality versus religion. And I had a really negative. You're welcome. I hope it was mildly coherent.
Was.
Okay, good. I had a crappy childhood when it comes to religion. And I didn't have any good role models at all. So I grew up in a small town in Montana called Missoula. Definitely, it's changed over time. But when I was growing up mostly in the 70s and 80s, it was politically pretty conservative, religiously pretty conservative. And I got a reputation as the kid singular, who didn't believe in God.
Wow.
I think I was raised by two responsible agnostic scientists, zoologists, where, you know, who are we as humans to say whether there's a God and whether God exists and all of that? We just need to be empirical and scientific and open to questioning. I wasn't an atheist. I just got that agnostic approach from my parents. But the social pressures were such that I felt othered and excluded for, quote unquote, not believing in God. I have this memory of someone coming up to me, putting their hand up to my ear and whispering, "I heard you don't believe in God." Like it was so unspeakably horrible that they had to whisper it.
Wait, like another child?
Another child, one of my peers, yeah.
Oh, do you remember how you responded?
No, I think I smacked him. Kidding. No.
Go to hell. I hope
exactly.
you said.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't believe in God, but I believe in hell, and you're going there, motherfucker. Straight away. Do not pass go.
And then instantly they burst into flames.
That's what happened.
Wow. Sorry.
Yeah. So that's one memory.
Yeah. No, that's painful.
So ostracization. And these kids were all quote unquote Christians. The only Christianity that I really got exposed to was, I would stumble across on television like Jim Bakker, Jimmy Swaggart, all these eventually disgraced, big time preachers. And it was connected to a politics that I found completely unrelatable. It's like we are the best. This religion is better than all. It's the only way. And I was just like, what the fuck is that even all about? Like,
wait, are you saying somebody introduced you to this, or you?
No, it's just like what came into like my exposure to religion through various channels.
Okay, and got you to Jim and Tammy.
Well, I would. I mean, I saw them on the TV. Like, it'd be channel surfing. I'd be like, what's that all about? Ew, that's gross.
Yeah.
So just like negative. And then, fast forward, the first religion that actually piqued my interest was Buddhism, and specifically Tibetan Buddhism. And I had the chance to visit some regions of Tibet in my early 30s, leading experiential ed programs with American high school students. And two things appealed to me about Buddhism. Number one, it was the term that I actually heard used is it's orthopraxic versus orthodoxic. It's about what you do and the impact that you leave, as opposed to what you just think or believe. It's action based and impact based. I was like, I like that. And then it's also it's I think as close as you can come to a marriage of science and religion, in the sense that if you look at the portrayals of Shakyamuni, the original Buddha, the OB. The original Buddha. This figure is holding, I gendered as a man, so I'm just going to use the masculine.
Okay.
Has an open palm facing up, but the hand is gesturing down towards the earth. And that's meant, so like, I'll show you here, like this, but it's lower.
Okay.
So open palm, generally oriented up, but the fingers are pointing more downward, and the heel of the hand is pointed more upward.
Okay.
And the whole, how that's been explained to me is it's meant to signify, don't believe what I say. Look to the earth for evidence. Like, I can tell you how to do that through your meditation practice, having a master, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But don't take anything out. I was just like, this is what I've been waiting for. And in my early and then mid 30s, living in San Francisco, I made some halting attempts at actually developing a practice. Did a meditation retreat at the Mercy Center, which is, Buddhist, Catholic, wonderful institution in the San Francisco Bay Area. I
didn't realize it was Buddhist Catholic. I thought it was just Catholic. They're Buddhist Catholic nuns that...
Oh, nuns, I don't... They do a lot of the events and retreats that they organize are Buddhist. So...
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe... Okay. All right. Continue. Mercy Center.
And I recognize it's just like... It's hard here in this cultural context because the master is so central to one's spiritual development inside of Buddhism. It's like I don't know even more. Go find a master. It's like I just wish I could relate more to what's right here. I didn't really know how to move forward with that. Fast forward a little longer now. I'm in my late 30s. We're living in Beijing, and Colette has discovered. So Colette. Actually, so I'm actually going to backtrack a little bit. When I met Colette in 1993, so this is before any of the trips to Tibet, which were 1998, 99, 2000. 1993, she was the first Catholic that I had met that wasn't a recovering Catholic.
That was still a practicing.
Still a practicing Catholic, and like a super kind and sweet and compassionate person who felt that she had become that way through not exclusively, but that her religious practice had been a huge part of her formation.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a head spinner for me because every Catholic that I had known had talked about how torturous it was as a kid, having to go to Catholic school, being forced to go to Mass, and they just couldn't get out of there fast enough and never looked back. So she was the first person who was a positive role model in my life for what religion could be. And so now, fast forward, we're in Beijing. She's looking for a church to attend regularly. She finds this place called the Congregation of the Good Shepherd. And
I've been there with you.
Oh yeah, did you
Haven't
come?
Haven't I? Okay,
Probably,
maybe not.
probably
maybe
no.
I'm
Because
imagining
no,
it.
no, no.
Okay.
Probably you're probably not imagining it because you visited in I think January, February of our final year there, 2007, and by then we were regularly attending. So it's likely that that you joined us there.
I think I did. I'm kind of remembering the coffee hour at the Good Shepherd. Okay, continue.
Mm-hmm. And I went and I just kind of had my mind blown by the first time. I was like, wait, these people are so nice. They're so inclusive. They're not, nobody is saying that their religion is better than anybody else's. These are just kind people. They have a framework for expressing spirituality and living a particular kind of way. And gosh, it's a form of Christianity. How weird is that? That's not like anything I've ever experienced before. And I had this is this massive epiphany that I had one day where I think the language was this. I said, oh my gosh, I am the founder and high priest of the anti-Jesus church. Because what I'd been noticing was anytime the word Jesus got mentioned, I would read, oops. Sorry, technical difficulties. Every time.
Divine intervention? I'm sorry, you just got muzzled is what happened. Wow. Okay.
Every time I heard the word Jesus, I would recoil in almost like disgust. And I was like, well, that's not how I want it. It's like, I saw this disconnect between this sort of growing recognition that it was possible to have a wholesome, loving Christian community and this remnant of this past, this sort of armor that I had to develop against all the ostracization. Yeah, exactly.
But interesting, Jesus, not God. Like you didn't recoil from the word God, even though you didn't believe in God, and then Jesus. Like how did Jesus become the scapegoat in your?
Well, because I guess I don't know that I ever necessarily had that much against God as a concept. I mean, yes, the scientist in me, it was skeptical and all of that, but Jesus is specific to Christianity, and it was Christianity that had caused all those woes. And Jimmy Swaggart always talking about Jesus, and Jim and Tammy Faye Baker, Jesus this and Jesus that. So I just had all of these negative associations, and it was just like, wow. I've become exactly what I despise, which is complete exclusion, intolerance. I wouldn't call it hatred because it didn't have that much of a charge to it, but it was just like, okay, maybe I just really need to get over that stuff from my childhood and open up my heart. And so I started having conversations with Pastor Dan, and he recommended a couple of books.
Pastor Dan of Good Shepherd?
The Congregation of the Good Shepherd, yeah.
Yep.
And we kept going religiously. Oh, God. God. Okay. So, eventually what it led to, we ended up leaving Beijing in 2007, bidding a sad farewell to the Congregation of the Good Shepherd. And after trying out the Catholic Church in Swarthmore, PA, we moved to Rutledge, Pennsylvania, right next to Swarthmore, Pennsylvania. And it was a horrible experience going to that Catholic church.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because it was so dead. It was dead. There was no life, none, no life there at all. And they were handing out pamphlets about families. It was clear it was this heteronormative. It just felt like they're pushing this, the same kind of propaganda leading in the same direction as all those forms of Christianity that I had come to despise. And Colette didn't. She couldn't stand it either. She's like, this East Coast Catholicism is nothing at all like what we do out in California. So, So we went and tried out Trinity Church, the Episcopalian church, and I felt right at home. And a lot of it had to do with, well, first of all, just really nice people. A lot of the people who were in our school community, families in our school community, were also congregants at Trinity Church. And I started having conversations with Pastor Tom Cook, about baptism. And
wow,
we got into what I needed to know. Well, first of all, I was, well, no, that's not first of all. I'm going to put the whole question of Holy Communion, I'm going to put to the side for the moment. But what I kind of needed to know is that I could be Christian without accepting hook, line, and sinker the entire resurrection narrative. Because I still to
that
this day.
That was a flashpoint for you,
It was
the
a flashpoint
resurrection?
for me because it's just like, I love the idea and the concept. It's the whole idea of life after death. That is like new life. Like horrible things happen and we can emerge stronger, more loving, more compassionate. The transformative power of suffering. As a metaphor, the idea of the resurrection was very appealing to me, but I didn't want to be required to believe that a dead human body came back to life. I'm not willing to accept that kind of on its face. I'm just not. And so when I sat down with Father Tom, and I said, like, is it okay to have a metaphorical understanding of all this stuff? He's like, absolutely. Like, you're not required to, believe in the literal resurrection of Jesus. That's not a requirement of being a Christian. And I just could feel this sense of relief. I was just like, and then he says in the same conversation, Jason, you are ready for baptism.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And so it was so beautiful. Francesca, our younger daughter, and I got baptized the same day. And it was just a beautiful ceremony. And then it was after that I started accepting Holy Communion. And I had actually received communion at the Congregation of the Good Shepherd, because the way that Father Dan invited people or Pastor Dan invited people to communion, he said, we invite forward now all who believe in Jesus, or all of them, followers of Jesus and those who trust him. And in one of our conversations, he said he was very intentional about that, because he didn't want any bureaucratic no bureaucratic gatekeeping over who can receive communion. Just check in my own heart. Do I trust Jesus? And I was starting to trust Jesus. And ultimately, I guess I'm leaving out a huge part here. Why Christianity and why Jesus? And how did I make this shift in my head from the founder and high priest of the anti-Jesus church?
Yes.
Once I got rid of that, once I was able to put all that to the side and really take a look at the Gospels and what Jesus was saying and what Jesus was doing and the sacrifice that he made, it was just so apparent to me that we have this role model, an aspirational role model. That isn't to say I should aspire to give everything up and oppose the authorities and get nailed to a cross. However, you look at how he engages in dialogue with others and the endless compassion that he has for others and the way that he uses his powers to alleviate suffering, to heal. The message is just such a deep and profound and just this really just powerful message about love, which is what I always felt like religion should be, but that it always turned into this tribal thing because humans are so tribal. So it's like my religion's better than your religion. So that's an important piece of the puzzle here. So I had already come to trust Jesus in Beijing at the Congregation of the Good Shepherd. And then once I was baptized, I felt comfortable receiving communion. Even though Father Tom told me I was welcome to receive communion before baptism, I just felt like I wanted to go through that process first. And that was 17 years ago. And I've been sort of hit and miss, on and off, in and out with regard to my attendance of church. And my identity as a Christian and as an Episcopalian is sort of still not super duper well formed. I don't I'm not involved in All Souls Parish, which is when I do go to church, that's where I go. Mm-hmm. And Colette too, although she's also found a Catholic church nearby that she has gone to Mass at. I think I'll kind of stop there. I do eventually want to get us all the way to Prayer Porch, but I want to stop and just kind of. I feel like I've been talking a long time, and I'd love to toss it back to you.
Okay. Well, let's pick up though. Why? Is there? Did you get what you needed from that baptism, and have you? Sort of internalized. Versus, you say you're not involved.
Please. I'll do a quick sort of fast forward through the last 17 years. My spiritual ears perk up around Lent.
Yeah.
And take me through Easter. And especially the transformative journey from Good Friday through Holy Saturday to Easter.
Bloody Sunday.
Bloody Sunday?
Sorry. Go ahead. That was inappropriate and just
I was just like
saying things.
Is Easter sometimes called Bloody Sunday? Is this something I don't know?
No, it isn't.
Okay.
Strike that from the record.
the
Bunny Sunday, maybe. Bunny. Anyways, go ahead.
There you go. Good Friday in particular is to me it is for me the most sacred holiday, or most sacred. I wouldn't call it a holiday, right? The most sacred day, the most sacred event is Good Friday services for me. And I think it's because it's in that moment that that Jesus to me becomes most relatable.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, while he's saying, Father, why have you forsaken me? And
exactly.
Sort of claiming his dad has dissed him, and he's in this very vulnerable position of dying and
being betrayed.
Just accepts,
being betrayed. So I mean, I feel like there's a universality of human experience that's captured in the crucifixion story. Going all the way, going back to Thursday night when he's just saying, everybody, I need you to stay awake. Can you all just please do that? Can you all just stay awake? And nobody can freaking stay awake. And he's like, dudes, what the heck? It's almost kind of slapstick until it gets so dire, right? And the being forsaken, and then his own doubt. He's sweating these massive drops of sweat, these like preternaturally large drops of sweat, because he knows what's going to happen to him. And he even wavers for a moment and says, Father, if this cup can be taken from me, but not my will be, thy will be done. Not my will be done, but thy will be done, or something like that, where it's like, I really don't want to go through this. This is horrifying and terrifying to me. And is there any way that you could relieve me of this? But no, that's not what I want. That's not what I'm here for. So that's also super relatable, because it's so human, right? This duality of, God in human form. And the whole feeling forsaken, feeling betrayed, feeling like nobody cares. I'm all alone. Those are such relatable human experiences, and Jesus goes through those. And there's this incredibly powerful message that he's doing it for me and for you and for everybody, that there's this grand vision of absolution. There's this grand vision of a greater love, a possibility for a different way of existing collectively. That he puts himself through this absolutely unimaginable, or he gets put through, but, puts himself in a position. He knows this is going to happen all along, right? Willingly subjects himself to this incredible, like unfathomable human suffering for me, for you, for everybody. Like, wow, holy shit. And then if that's so then that what does that mean in terms of how I go about living my life? And the things that might seem like worthy of complaining about. And that's, again, unreachable aspirational model, but a really freaking powerful and profound model.
Wow. Thank you for adding that. And oh my gosh, my head is flooded with like, and so wait, what was, okay, so then there's the resurrection, and that we're supposed to buy in, and as good Christians, to this idea that we're going to have eternal life, and therefore all of us are going to behave like Christ, because then we too will live in our resurrection that doesn't really look like him. We're not actually going to come back in flesh like he did temporarily to the Garden of Gethsemane, and was seen, like, we don't get that part. We don't actually get to see our loved ones again, but we should still buy into this idea and therefore, like, control ourselves. Does that more or less summarize your understanding of what that big sacrifice means to you?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, there's the short answer is no. Because I mean, at least pieces of it. Because I'm not even thinking about, I don't get this or that or get to see my loved ones again or anything like that. It's really just, I feel charged with a set of responsibilities, a certain a lens through which to see this precious gift of life and what I'm supposed to be doing with it.
Okay.
I actually, I still to this day, when there's a prayer or a song or something in church that talks about eternal life, I still kind of roll my eyes.
Right.
The scientist, the responsible agnostic scientist in me, I still kind of feel like I have to roll my eyes at that because metaphorically, eternal life to me, that's the impact and legacy that I leave here in this world, in the human and other, of course, but on this planet. Heaven, not going to bet on heaven either. Not going to bet that there's a soul that goes on after my body dies. I'm not going to bet. I'm 100% purely right on the fence, agnostic about that. Like, there's no way for me to possibly know. So given that, what I do feel like I have a great deal of certainty around is that I have a body.
Yeah.
That I'm in the world, that there's an impact and imprint, a legacy that I can leave. And that is fundamentally, to me, what it's all about. It's all grounded in that.
Okay. And this role model that you have in Jesus for how to leave the most, the most responsible imprint. Yeah.
Yeah. Responsible doesn't quite
I know
that, but there's a whole bunch of adjectives there to go. You could insert there.
Yes,
but it's
exactly.
about.
I loved what you said earlier. I want to show up as the most loving person I can be, to honor the suffering, to lessen the suffering, to leave this imprint that's guided and directed by these. And I love that. I just don't get I can't see how you could personally see that Jesus is a role model for you. Like, how is Jesus the guy for you? How does that, Good Friday crucifixion set an example for you?
Trying to think about putting it a different way than I put it before. So, because I think I can convey it clearly. Well,
you said it feels so relatable that this person, and that they did it for me. And that's the part that is not clicking for me, because in my understanding, the for you part is they coming back to life, that you see Christ is saying, I have eternal life and you will too. But then you, Jason Patton, are saying no, not eternal life. That's not the part. So I'm wondering, what is the part? What is the part where Jesus is like, I died on the cross for you? How does that translate into your life?
I would give up everything, including my life, for the sake of others. I'm not saying that I aspire to die for others. I don't at all. I want to live as long as I can, and take effective action for as long as I can.
Yeah.
And go, please, you.
And I think, that's beautiful. I mean, to live your ass off for others, right? To and I think that is very Christ-like, to live to lessen others' suffering, to live to, again, like, what was the expression? Like the big point or something. And I was like, colon, and you were like, we all die. Anyways, yes, like, so how can we, make the most of our compassion, love, etc., while we're living,
right?
To support, of radical acceptance and furthering and thriving of each other.
Yes, exactly. And my in breath there a moment ago is there's something. And this is where I would love to hear from any of our listeners who could provide insight on this one, because this is a sticking point for me. The NOTW bumper stickers. You ever seen those?
NOTW. No.
Not of this world.
Oh, no.
And I know, and I've actually asked Colette about this, and I think she kind of explained it to me, and I guess I haven't internalized yet whatever it was that she was trying to teach me. But it bugs me. And actually, the whole idea that who am I to declare that I'm not of this world? Who am I to declare that the world of the spirit, like the heaven, whatever it is that people might, posit exists after the human body dies, right? Whatever that is, who would I be to proclaim that is what I am of, and not this world and this life? And I think, I think I'm starting to remember some of the things that Colette was telling me. This may be misattributing to Colette. So Colette, sorry, my apologies to you if I'm misattributing this to you. But I think a commitment to something that is divine. It doesn't necessarily, not of this world doesn't necessarily have to mean that I'm not participating in this world. It can mean that my commitments and my vision is for something much greater than what exists in this world. And that it could coexist with a life and a body of work that is very much of this world. So anyway, it feels like a bit of a diversion.
Okay. So like at a high level, are you becoming more accepting of the not of this world?
Well, I think I may have in the 30 seconds or so that just passed.
I love it. This is it's a kind of gentle, a minuscule conversion of sorts.
Or at least it's called experiential learning. Well, you know me.
Yeah.
I don't know what I think until I speak. So this is, part of one of the things I love about chatting with you here is I get to learn, have insights like that. So
yeah, no, that's awesome. And it made me think of the Darwin car magnets with there's the Jesus fish car magnet, and then there's like the ones with the feet, which I like. I'm like, it's both and. Like, I love it. I might have one of each.
Okay, we are back now. May 29th, Friday, May 29th.
Yes.
2026.
Still.
Yes. It's like we never left, Rowena. Little time machine trip there, back into the past. I thought maybe what we could do next is, I'd like to bring it back to my current professional challenges.
Okay.
And I want to do it through a couple of stories.
Okay.
One way in which I've been, I guess, self-soothing and reassuring myself is remembering past difficulties, specifically past professional difficulties, and how I've gotten through those, and like actually how much worse they were.
Yeah. Like Pennsylvania.
We'll start with that.
Okay.
And then another one after that.
Okay.
And then how grateful I've been with the gift of time and distance.
Brilliant.
For these awful experiences. So like looking at the Barf Tunnel in the rearview mirror and being like, something actually looks pretty good from here.
Love that.
Yeah. So December 1st, 2008. So my family and I moved from Beijing to Pennsylvania in the summer of 2007. This super exciting job that I had at this consulting company of all things.
Okay.
It was my first time outside of academia, really, ever. I was drawn to it because it seemed purpose driven. It wasn't just a bunch of people out to make a bunch of money. You're trying to make a difference in the world in a very particular way. I crashed and burned at that company. And on December 1st, 2008, I was fired from that job. Mm. And that led to a period of deep soul searching. I mean, in addition to the financial pressures, thank God Colette had recently been employed at nearby Widener University. But I'd never experienced that kind of a setback before in my entire life. And I'll just never forget, it was December. It was cold as heck. Our house was not that well heated. It was an old 1886 Victorian.
Wow.
With not many of the windows having been replaced. And I remember dropping the girls off at school and looking at all the dads headed off to work and feeling like nothing. Mm. Driving home to my ridiculously quiet and cold house. Mm. I had an alert for incoming emails. It would go like ding, and every time an email it came into my brand new Jason at jasonpatton.com email inbox, and I would look at the email and it would be nothing of any interest to me, and I would be discouraged again. And it was a really, really, really difficult time. Months went by. Some really good things happened. That's how I got my foot in the door of intercultural consulting, which led to lots of really good career stuff later.
Yes. And
also, this is a preview, my trip to Chicago, where I met the Tobins, about whom our listeners will hear later in another episode.
Yes.
So wonderful things happened as well during this time.
Okay. Amazing.
But the financial pressures just kept mounting and mounting and mounting. And this weight on my soul of feeling thwarted in my ability to contribute my skills and talents and experiences to something important. And for me, what that has traditionally taken the form of is, as an educator, it's, I want to be able to play a role in turning on the light bulbs in the minds and hearts of young people. Mm. Helping make them aware of possibilities that they didn't even necessarily think about, help develop knowledge and skills. There's a lot in there, but just feeling thwarted. Like I'm just freaking sitting at home. I'm not doing anything. And one day I found myself on my knees, bawling my eyes out, begging God to help me. God, I don't know what to do. And I don't know how long it went on for. It felt like a really long time. And afterwards, I felt really cleansed. And that was an experience like I had never had before, like on my knees begging for deliverance. Now, I don't remember the details of the timeline, but what I know with certainty is that it was not long after that things started to change.
Wow.
Opportunities started to pop up. And actually, kind of before I knew it, I had 2 job offers, both of which were super interesting and exciting. I ended up taking the one that I took ended up leading to a whole other set of challenges, then another Barf Tunnel. So I didn't, anyway, so that's another story for another day, but,
not irrelevant.
Not irrelevant. Not
careful
irrelevant.
What you wish for, right?
No, exactly. Well, what eventually ended up happening after another year plus of this company that I went and worked for, turned out to be a disaster, was I found out about an opening at the Hopkins Nanjing Center where I eventually became American co-director. It was this absolutely incredible job. Family moved back to China. And, looking back, I was like, okay, this is what it led to. I'm all right with that.
Yeah.
And all of the resilience and everything that I built from that Barf Tunnel experience. So that's experience number one. And that was the hardest.
Yeah.
Because it was the first, it was long. We didn't have, I didn't have the same emotional and social resources that I have now. We were more vulnerable financially. Yeah. I made it through that.
Yeah.
Second related experience was not much more than a year ago, or 2 years ago. It was March? Yeah, it was March 2024. And so I left my job at the University of California, Berkeley in November of 2021. I had a little bit of a financial cushion that allowed me to hire some people to help me build two websites actually, for two different named businesses. And then as time went on, it became clear that they weren't going to generate the revenue that we needed as a family. And I started looking for jobs in August of 2023. Nothing. The bank account is draining. And one night in bed, I was lying on my back and praying, and I started crying. And this time the prayer was a little bit different. I just said, Lord, fill me with your spirit. Lord, fill me with your spirit, over and over and over again. And there was even at that time, I had this little part of me that was laughing because it was so slapstick. I'm trying not to wake Colette up, and my nose is all filled with snot, so I'm breathing through my mouth. Lord, fill me with your spirit. It was really...
Fill me with your snot, not your snot.
No, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, it could totally be like a comedy scene, right? In a movie or TV show or whatever. And then the very next day, I woke up tired, and, I'll say, but this is true. I will say always, like the day after a really good cry like that, when something like really upsetting has happened, I always feel like I have access to a tenderness inside of me that I normally don't have, just on the day-to-day busyness of everything, and goal accomplishment being the focus and making the most out of every minute and all of that. And so I also, the next day, I actually had a gig for a company. There was a conference on inclusion that I had been invited to be a part of a panel at. It was at, I think was it called Oracle Park then? I think it was. This where the Giants play baseball.
Yeah.
I got to meet one of my heroes, Jessica Mendoza.
Oh.
Baseball announcer extraordinaire.
Amazing.
Somewhere on my phone, I've got a selfie of me with Jessica.
That's hot.
She was great. We got to talk baseball for like 5 minutes. It was really amazing. Anyway, 2 days after that is when I sent in, when I revisit, I had it in my calendar to revisit this Dean of Barrett Scholars. I guess I haven't named the program. I'm naming it now. It turns out it's pronounced Barret, B-A-R-E-T. And I went back 2 days later to find that LinkedIn was no longer accepting applications. And I was like, oh, damn. But then I found the email address of the recruiter. She said, send your materials. And then all of a sudden, everything popped. No. And I didn't actually end up with 2 job offers, but I was interviewing for that job. Plus, there was a job at a nearby university as well that was also very promising. And all of a sudden, it's like abundance. And as we all know, that ended up being an absolutely incredible experience leading that group for an academic year. Trying and difficult and all of that, but we mentioned in last week's episode, it was 1 year to the day since I returned from that. So, I don't know how the universe works, it's just interesting to me that those 2 times where I just was absolutely at the end of my rope, feeling so desperate that I was begging God to help me. Things got better. Now there's the rational part of my brain that says horrible things are being done to human beings all over the planet. And I'm sure that the mothers and fathers of small children who are being killed are on their knees crying and begging God for mercy and not getting it. Mm. So I'm not here to deliver a message that if you are sufficiently bereft, desperate, whatever, that you're going to get what you want when you pray.
Yeah. Right.
I can't possibly adopt that as a stance towards how the universe works. What I do have is my own experience to go on.
Yeah.
And so I haven't had a moment like that with this current barf tunnel that I'm in.
Right.
But what I do have is a pretty long list of desperate times in my professional life. Mm. A pretty long list of disappointments along the road, things that looked like they were promising and then didn't end up working out. And a pretty long list of making it through to something that I could not have imagined, that was so good I could not possibly have imagined it. So why not have that be part of my work right now? First of all, remembering.
Yeah.
And second of all, having some faith.
As nonlinear as it may be.
As nonlinear as it may be. And then I say that, and the first thing I think is, screw that. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, right. So there it is again, that bifurcation, that duality. But that's where I am on May 29th, 2026.
I'm so glad you're here.
Me too. And right, we've talked about this a little bit as well, the blessings.
Yes.
Talked about it last week, right?
Yes.
Thank God I was here this last year.
Yeah.
Maybe there's work for me to do here that I don't know yet what it is.
Yeah.
I just don't know. It hurts. It hurts to feel like I'm thwarted. It hurts to know, because I've had the feeling. I've had the feeling of being so incredibly activated and feeling like every neuron in my brain and body is on fire when I'm doing the work that I want to be doing, that I'm meant to do.
Yeah.
And it hurts that I'm not doing that work.
Yeah.
I had a moment on the hill with the dog. We live on a hill. It's beautiful. I take the dog out at 3 p.m. every day because I'm at home every day. Mm-hmm. And the feeling that I had today was, here I am. I haven't shaved in a few days because I don't have to, because I don't have to look nice for anybody. I'm in my grubby clothes. And I love being out in the beautiful Bay Area with my dog. It's super sweet and wonderful. And shouldn't I be somewhere else right now? Mm-hmm. With every neuron in my brain and body on fire, doing the work that I'm meant to do? This doesn't feel like the work that I'm meant to do. It's lovely and it's beautiful and it's wonderful to have time with my dog on the hill, but it doesn't feel like the work that I'm meant to do. Mm-hmm. I want to get on with the work that I'm meant to do. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's not going to be in some organization somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe I need to be more creative and more proactive and more risk taking. And I don't know what else, what other attributes I'm going to need to channel. And I guess another piece of it is, that there are attributes that I know I'm gaining through this particular trip, through this particular barf tunnel. Yeah. I know that I'm gaining resilience. Right. And I'm sure other stuff too.
For sure.
And of course, deepening our friendship.
Yeah.
Lots of good things are coming from all of this as well.
Deepening your spirituality,
And
I would imagine.
deepening my spiritual life and trying and figuring out what is it that I'm meant to be doing. Another call into the wilderness for me recently has been, Lord, what are you calling me to do? You want to pick up that phone right now, Lord, and give me a call and just freaking tell me, or just fling the doors open like you've done for me before? Why are you obscuring this from my view? Why is it so freaking hard? So,
do you remember our Padre Pio reading today? We'll talk about that next time.
Okay.
I like, why is it so freaking hard as opposed to end?
Yeah. Why is it so freaking hard? And then again, this is very much a first world problem. In the sense that, my God, I mean, like,
yes,
the abundance, the ridiculous abundance of blessings.
Yes.
That I have every single day of my life.
You need to write a detective novel. Remember how we both really loved the show Platonic?
Yes.
And the Rose
dad.
Byrne's, yes,
the Rose Byrne's husband, Charlie.
Quits his job. Charlie, okay.
Quits his high-powered lawyer job to write
a detective novel. You could spend your days doing that. Now, of course, he got his job back, and
he did,
also found that he was
lousy writer.
Not for me. But I like what you said about getting creative. I like what you said about trying to fire up your neurons and feel.
Gotta fire them up myself, I guess.
I think you do. It would be a beautiful thing. Maybe that's what the Lord is calling you to do.
What?
Fire up your neurons yourself.
I don't know how. I'll ask ChatGPT. ChatGPT will tell me how to do it.
Oh, okay. So the Lord's asking you to fire up your computer.
Exactly. Fire up ChatGPT to tell me how to activate ChatGPT. How do I activate my neuron?
That's sad.
Super sad.
That's sad. I know that the Pope recently weighed in on.
He did
that.
He did on this specific question. Magnifica humanitas. Okay, well, I guess that's about it. I think that's about it for this conversation, and I can't wait, Rowena, until our next episode when we get to learn more about your journey.
Thank you for inspiring me.
Back at you.
You're welcome. That's all for this episode of No Left Field. If you enjoyed it, give us a 5-star rating and follow the podcast. That will help others find us. Until next time, may our left fields be ever expanding.